Hey everyone, it's Austin, and today I'm going to see how fast I can make a knife. I've made a lot of knives. I've never really done a speed run like this before. I'm not going to be forging because that takes more time, and we're going to do kind of a primitive heat treat on this where I'm just going to harden it in the forge and then temper it with a torch, and that'll save about 5 hours in the heat treat. And then I'm going to try doing a handle with no epoxy, so I'll probably be flaring the pins. They'll be tube pins. They have a hole through them, so I'll probably be flaring those to hold the handle on. And I mean, I still want to make a nice knife, but I'm just going to see how fast I can really make a knife. I've never done this before, so it should be fun. I hope I don't grind a finger off or something, but we'll see what happens. Let's get rocking. Alright, so we've got our knife profiled out. Now I'm going to go in and mark center lines so I can grind in some nice, straight, even bevels. Alright, we've got it profiled, we've got some center lines struck into it here so I can grind some nice, straight, flat, and symmetric bevels. So we're going to rough those in, and then it'll be time to heat treat this bad boy. Alright, here we are. I've drilled holes in off camera and hardened it off camera. So now it's going to be time to go in with the torch and temper this out. Alright, got this guy tempered out. The temper in the spine's been over-tempered, it's blown. You don't want that color in your cutting edge. So we're good to go there. The whole idea of tempering is that when you harden the knife, it gets super, super hard, and then you want to temper back so it won't break. That's the basic gist of it. There's some other things going on with martensite and retained austenite, but still, that's the basic gist of that. So now I'm going to get this guy cleaned up. Time for finish grinding and then a handle, hopefully soon. Oh, there it is. Alright, so now I'm going to go in and reflat the sides of this because, you know, during the heat treating process things can get warped and out of whack. So I'll go in, reflatten it, put it back on the granite surface plate and get new lines in here, and then I'll do grind the cutting edge down to the final thickness before the micro bevel. Alright, so I've got some layout lines on here so we can make sure we keep our edge centered and straight. Yeah, so let's grind in some bevels. We're getting close. Alright, so I've gone in and sanded this, well, ground it on the grinder to 400 grit, and I buffed it a little bit just to see what kind of finish we're going to get when we're done. Yeah, so now I guess it's time for a handle. I have these chunks of black G10 laying around that are just going to be big enough, and I think I'll use this brass tube. I'll flare that. Do 3 pins and see if it holds. I don't know, see what happens. Alright, so we've got our machine finished blade, which I don't know the last time I didn't hand sand a blade. That's kind of weird. Usually I hand finish everything, but we're on the clock. We've got our 3 brass tube pins and our 2 handle scales. So we're pretty much ready to go together. The only thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to oil this handle because there's not going to be any epoxy in there to keep water out. So if water does get in there, I don't really want it to rust. Not that it's really a huge thing, but just for the sake of it. Obviously, if I was going to epoxy this, I would not be putting oil on it. That would be really, really stupid. So there we go. Let's see if we can get this thing together. Alright, well, the assembly went good. This was kind of a dry fit up. I'm still going to have to go in and relieve some material around these holes on the outside. That way I can flare the pins into it. I'm just not sure if I want to do that right now or if I want to try and do some shaping on the handle and then go in and flare them. I might just do it right now. Alright, see if we can't screw these up. Yeah, that's looking pretty big to me. I don't think that's going to work. Alright, so I've got a drill bit in here that's just a little bit bigger than 1/4 inch, and that's kind of what I want because I want these pins to just sort of flare just a little bit. I don't want a ridiculous mushroom, so... Alright, so I've got these drilled out, or kind of countersunk so I can flare these brass pins. But it's getting way too dark to work, and I know I'm not going to have time to finish this tonight, so I'm just gonna sleep on it. I might think about a better idea by tomorrow morning, but yeah, that's where we're gonna stop for tonight. Let's see what kind of time we got going here. We're at an hour 45. So that's pretty good. We're almost done. I mean, I just need to put these pins, put the pins through, flare them, profile the handle, clean it up. Yeah. Alright guys, it's the next day. I am going to reassemble this guy. Alright, now it's time to flare these and probably crack the handle scales or something. We'll see. Oh, huh. Yeah, I don't know. That seems to have worked pretty well. Alright, let's keep going here. Just trying to get the handle tight together so these rivets will be proud of the handle a little bit and really pull it together tight. Probably not a great idea to hit your handle material with a hammer, but my card is pretty tough. Wow, that seems to have worked really well. Guess we'll have to grind in and see how tight they are. See if I can get you guys a little closey here. So, we've got this guy as far as we're going to go on the grinder. I could do more finishing work on the grinder and just call it done. But I actually want the knife to be nice, so I'm going to take my time and go in and sand it out and clean it up. So, we're going to start with files and then go through the grits and see how that ends up. Alright, so I've gone in, filed it out, hand sanded it out. Now I'm going to take it over to the buffer and clean it up. Buff polish out that handle and the perimeter of the handle steel. And then we'll sharpen it. We are just over 2.5 hours in. I haven't cleaned this guy up yet. It's still dirty. I just got it off the buffer, but it's buffed out. Actually looks pretty good. I mean, of course it looks good. I make great knives. Okay, so now we need to sharpen it. Obviously, it's worthless if it's not sharp. So we'll go in and sharpen it up quick on the belt grinder. Got a pretty thin edge, so should go quick. Alright, I think we're done. Got it sharp, got it buffed up. Let's see where we're at on the time. Alright, just under 2:40. I mean, that's not exact. You know, there were obviously times when I had to stop the stopwatch and turn it back on, and yeah. But anyway, looks pretty good. Oh look, there I am. Hi. So that was a fun build. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. I think we ended at what, about 2:40, 2:38, which isn't an exact time. I mean, I had to shut the stopwatch. I came back in this morning, finished out the handle. That went really well. I mean, it looks great. It still looks really good. I'm really surprised and happy with how it looks, but all I'm saying is it was kind of difficult to stop and be like, okay, I can't sit here for an hour. But it looks great, and I'm happy with it. But I'm really happy with how that turned out. I'm happy with it. These are not my normal processes. This was all stuff that I did to save time. I think I'm happy with the knife. Looks good. I'm really happy with this guy.